Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our Interprefy Interpreter Q&A session. It's a new round, and we are pleased to have you all here. Today with us, we have Chris Wan, who is from RWS Group, and he's Senior Project Manager over there. We have Jessica Chong. She's PMO Director for APAC, as well as RWS Group. My name is Vladimir. I'm engagement specialist here at Interprefy, and we have my colleague, Operations Manager Jelena Blagojevic.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, all. Hi, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
As
Good
well,
afternoon.
Hi, everyone.
As well with us, we have Senior Training Specialist, Kristina Jankovic, if you have any questions related to her sphere of work. And we have a remote support member, Mladen Bugarin, who he's also with us. And if you have any questions during the session about remote support, feel free to ask in the chat. Or, as I said, you will have in the top right part of the screen the green hand icon. At the certain point, we're going to ask you to ask some questions if you have, and feel free to press on that icon so that we can allow you to take the floor. If you're a bit shy, you can freely type in the chat. So I will also now give the floor to Jessica a little bit. Hi, Jessica. How are you doing?
Good morning, Vladimir. I know it's super early on your end. I really appreciate it. Try to include us APAC folks and then situated in the middle of your night or early in the morning. I'm so happy to join this event. And then this is I think it's the first time we appear in the Interprefy Q&A sections, and then we have been working with Interprefy for a very long time, and we are excited. We are excited to join, to be here to have some discussions or maybe answer some questions that our interpreters might have, and then so that everyone will know more about us and also about Interprefy, how we are work together. Then maybe you can join this one big family as well.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Chris, would you like to say a few words as well about yourself?
Yeah, hi, everyone. This is Chris from the RWS Group, and I also work with Jessica. And yes, I've been working with the Interprefy team for like almost a year, and then I'm very familiar with the interpreters and all the operation about the platform, and I'm also happy to answer all the interpreters' questions if you have any about our company RWS. And yes, sure, I will be there to answer your questions. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So for the beginning, we wanted to discuss a little bit about our collaboration with RWS, which was formerly known as SDL, if someone gets confused. So Jessica, would you like to tell us a few things about that first? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much. And then just mentioned that this is we are formerly known as SDL, but now we have integrated with RWS, so that we will now refer ourselves as RWS, and then we are one of the leaderships in the language service providing industry. And I would say interpretations is one of our main service we offer to our clients as well, including interpretations and then including Interprefy. And then for this one, that since COVID, we can see that it's changed. It basically changed everyone's life, and then including how we work and then how we offer such service. So we see there's increasing needs, and then we see an opportunity that we are so thrilled to work with Interprefy. And that's why we started to build a lot of deep pool of resources so that we could offer service, interpretation service to Interprefy and their end clients on our various and a variety of events. And I would say for our jobs for language service as a language service provider, what we need to do is to vet and then to train and then to make sure that we have suitable resources, which are available interpreters to be assigned to suitable work. For example, if it's financial work, then it makes sense that we have someone with ample experience in financial events, in interpreting financial events to service to be on the jobs. So this is something that we on our end we are responsible for, and so while working with Interprefy, we form synergies and also solutions that is very effective remote interpretation solutions to our end clients, which I know that is covered from I would say all verticals, from life science, and then also from financial, legal, or some other corporate sector as well. And for our job, we will say that it's mainly how we build relationship with our interpreters to ensure that they are up to the standards, and maybe through some how to say feedback, and then also some training program that we offer to them, and to make sure that they are always performing well in during the jobs.
Perfect. Thank
Yep.
you so much. And let me know if you would like me to change the slides. I opened the presentation that you shared with
Yes,
me.
that's
So
right.
if you want to
And
switch to the
this
next
is
one.
That's right. Of course, yes, that's the partnerships for to explain. That's the slide that explain the partnership between RWS and Interprefy. And then please move on to the next slide, please. And then it's just a small like an advertisement to our interpreters. So if anyone who haven't started working with us already, so we are welcome for you to reach out to us to join our team, and so that we could further discuss what qualifications, and also how we will have our vendor relationship teams to walk you through the whole process of how you get registered on our database, so that when there's suitable jobs come up, we could reach out to you and so on. Yeah.
I have one question for you, Jessica. It might be a bit difficult, but especially for LSP agencies. But how would you explain why your agency would stand out compared with other agencies? How your services are better than others?
I'm sure that everyone's trying their best. So usually I try not to compare, by company, from company to another company. But I could highlight a few points that what we stand out in the market is that even though that some of the interpreters may already aware that we are one of the top leaders in this industry, but so that we are as a leader, but that doesn't mean that all the things are very rigid, or we have set up the operation like that, and then there's nothing that we can change. We don't work that way. I would say we are resourceful, but at the same time we are trying to be agile, and we try to collaborate with both our client and also our resources with human touch, try to be understandable, and then what they need and what we could do to support both our clients and also our resources to make things work. Because I think, especially for interpretation jobs, relationship are very important for us, and then this is one of the key elements for to drive the interpreters to grow themselves. And also we rely on our interpreters to let us know what we could do to help them to make their jobs easier. So that's why I would say we are large, and but we are also agile, and then we are flexible in terms of how to make things work. Well, of course, as long as it's in compliance and legal, then we are willing to change and accommodate. So I think that's what makes us stand out. Yeah.
Not only related to is it legal or not, also when we try to be flexible, it can sometimes ruin qualities. We should be flexible, but not to oh my god, it's also morning at my side.
I know. And then
both
this is
Vladimir and I, we woke up at 4 a.m. So
I appreciate you all trying to make this happen for the APAC folks. And then this is the
we
first
need
time
to
for
include
me
you
but
as
too.
also
well.
I can see that there are many people from Central European
Europe.
time zone, and
Yeah.
yes,
Because it's 9
mostly
a.m.
Europe.
It's suitable.
Yes. And then so maybe shall we look at
Open the floor.
Yes. Do we have any
Well,
questions?
I would wait for a few more seconds. What I wanted to emphasize here is generally that for the ones who are going to be watching the recording of this session in the future, and for the ones who you are here, there are always questions about does Interprefy hire interpreters? So this is why we started bringing LSPs, so that we can explain that we do not hire interpreters, but we have our reliable partners who are helping us with this process. And also, Jessica, I wanted to ask you: are there some languages that are in demand? Like, what are the combinations that you're looking for mostly? Or are there any languages that are like overloaded, like you're overloaded with applicants for interpreters pool?
Okay. Maybe I can pass these questions to Chris, and then so that he could share some more information about this.
Hey, hi everyone. Yeah. Um, Regarding the resources that we are looking for is like mostly APAC languages, because we mostly get requests from the Interprefy sales team is about the APAC languages, like Japanese, Korean, and some other East Asian languages. But also we are getting more requests from the for the European languages like French, Spanish, and Italian, and some more others. So yes, we need more, talented and professional interpreters, particularly for the European languages. We welcome your application. Yeah, and we can offer you a good services, and as mentioned by Jessica just now, our company do value relationship with the interpreters. We are not just assigning job, but we will have a human touch, and we uphold a good relationship and an ongoing communication with the interpreter, which we will we not only care about their workload, but also their emotion, or stress level of work. And then when they are have opinion or comments about the projects or what we assign them, we will listen to them, and we will try our best to reflect their opinion, and to improve on our workflow and processes. So yes, yeah, we are open to all the languages. Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. So I think
you.
what Chris is trying to say is that most of the common language combo is very much related to the economic of each countries. Like I would say Korea is our hot cake here. And then we always, the business, because business is booming, and of course China as well. So Chinese English and then English Korea is often quite, is always on high demand. And then also we can see a trend that it's not even into, they may not necessarily have English involved sometimes as well. So especially in APAC, because sometimes we will have someone was doing business with between China and then Korea, they might wish to have some direct interpretation service offer as well. So this is the trend here in APAC. What we are seeing is that sometimes that it depends on the business between the countries. And then also for Europe, it's quite common language is the French, and then Spanish, and also some other language that we spoke quite often in Europe. And so yeah, I think that's what we are seeing now in the trend. And then for APAC, we of course would like to have work with as many interpreters as possible. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. And we have one raised hand from Adham. We'll give him opportunity to ask the question and to give him the floor.
Yeah, and please let us know if it's Adham or Adam, so that we can pronounce your name properly.
Yes. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Welcome.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Maybe
Good
good
morning.
afternoon as well, wherever you are. My name is Adham.
Adham.
Adham. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Nice to meet you all. I'm already registered with Interprefy. I'm already in their database, and I've been interpreting for them for a long time. Has
Okay.
has anything changed? Do I need to be registered in your own database?
Well, yes, because I will answer part of that question. We have actually a database of trained interpreters, but we don't exchange information between LSPs. So that means that for each LSP you would need to approach separately. And Jessica, please correct me if I'm wrong. So if you are interpreter, that means that you're trained to work on Interprefy platform. But maybe there is also this relationship between Interprefy and Interprenet. So sometimes interpreters would call Interprefy interpreter even though they collaborate with Interprenet. So again, if you're working with Interprenet, that means that you can also start working with RWS as well.
Okay, so if I need to be registered in your database, do I need to email you on the email which is already on the screen now?
Yes, please. Yes, please. That's the
okay.
way. Yeah, it's easy. But you can just email us, and then we will have our vendor managers to reach out to you.
Thank you. And simple question about Arabic, because you didn't mention Arabic. Is it included as well?
I would say we come across requests that needs Arabic from time to time, and then of course, if there's any chance, we will definitely reach out to you to see if it's a good match.
Yes. We have requesting English to Arabic or two ways interpretation projects, and we have done quite a lot these days. So yes, there is an opportunity for Arabic language.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we have several different questions from chat. Let me read one by one. So Norik asked, so glad I signed up for the RWS session. Oh, we are glad to hear this. As I'm based in Japan and was hoping to extend my network in APAC region, is RWS based in Hong Kong and other countries?
I would say our database is shared, and then so that's why once you register with us, and then we should be able to find you in a sense on our platform. And but in terms of office, we do have office in Hong Kong, and then some other APAC countries like Korea, Japan, China, and as far as I know, there should be one in Singapore as well. So, but there could be something that some office, some other office, back office, I'm not aware of. But because I'm sure that in a major APAC country, we already have a presence there.
So maybe the next question, you already answered it, but let's see. So it says, good morning, I have a question. I'm already registered with RWS and work with various RWS entities. I'm also registered with Interprenet. Is this enough for the purpose of your new RWS Interprefy collaboration? Just to make clear, this is a not new collaboration. We already collaborating for more than, I think, how many years? I'm not even sure.
I think it's more than 3
Yeah,
years.
but it's not new for sure. Yeah.
More than 3 years.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
as well, RWS is one company and Interprenet is another one. So Jessica, they would need to register separately to apply over there with you guys, so that you can have them in your pool.
But this interpreter, Georgia, she's already in communication with both LSPs. And question is it enough, or she needs to do something additional?
Yes, it's enough. I know Georgia.
It is
I know her name. I recognize her name.
Perfect.
Already some familiar names popping up. Nice.
Yes. You're safe, Georgia.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have more questions from Jan Rausch. Sure, I'm pronouncing right. So I have a question. Sorry, not just well enough, but okay, we accept any kind of outfit to show up on the camera. How this collaboration is different from Interprenet, and what else? And like Georgia, I work for RWS mainly through what I used to be Eclipse in the UK and now Spain. So are Georgia and I already in your database anyway? So this is interesting because they are mentioning countries that are not in APAC region. Maybe you can explain this a bit more. So there is Eclipse in UK, and also they are working from Spain. Somehow they are in communication with Spanish office, if that exists.
What used to be
So we already, in the meantime, we already clarified that our collaboration is not new with RWS, but definitely it's a different company from Interprenet. Like it's kind of two language service providers. So maybe RWS is more focused on APAC region, while Interprenet on some other. But probably they have some similar regions that they're targeting.
If this doesn't sound familiar, we can answer it later. We can send an email to interpreters.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, maybe let me
gonna
check.
make a note of it.
Yeah, I will make a look. I will mark down Jen name and then check with our vendor management team whether
Yep.
he or she is in our database. But yeah, I'm sure Georgia is in our database. Yes. So yeah,
Yeah,
I will check and get back to
Okay.
Jen.
Then we have one more question. Does this mean that RWS will use only Interprefy from now on? I'm sorry, just the text is moving while everyone is typing. And what else? Maybe we can first answer this question. So what is the plan for RWS?
From now on, they have.
When we speak
So
about
to read it
simultaneous
completely, another question that comes to, this is Georgia asking. Another question that comes to my mind is, does this mean that RWS will use only Interprefy from now on, or they will be free to use another platforms as well, depending on their final clients' needs?
I think Verimir, you're right. And then, of course, if the clients come to us, if some of our clients come to us and then they don't have any designated remote platform, we'll recommend Interprefy for sure. And because we are business partner, and but if the client already have certain kind of subscriptions or they use their internal infrastructure or setup, then we might need to comply with that requirement as well.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
Let's see, what did we have next? Okay. Georgie is asking, is Interprefy going to introduce any technical changes that would allow their platform operators to improve the incoming sound directly without having to relying on the source streaming platform? For instance, in case of low incoming volume on Interprefy, many times nothing can be done from the Interprefy operators. They usually can only refer to the client that more volume is needed, but cannot actively increase the volume. So we have our sound expert here, Christina, and she will be able to answer this question. I'm gonna allow her to take the floor. Thank you for all of those great questions, Georgia.
Hello, everyone. Good morning
Hello.
from my end. My name is Christina, and I'm a senior trainer at Interprefy. And Georgia, as for your question, we did introduce a new feature quite recently, which is tone control. And you should be able to see it on the top menu in the upper rightish part of the system. You should be able to see the little mixer icon. There you would be able to see that we introduced tone controls, which are parts of clarifier, which does exactly that. It boosts the incoming sound, and when the speaker sound is not optimal and it's below the level that you're comfortable interpreting from, it will boost the sound of that specific speaker, but it will also clear out the sound as well. So if a person is slurring where they're speaking or something like that, it will enhance the speech as well, making sure that you can actually hear better in order to deliver better interpretation. Downside of it is that if that speaker who is having suboptimal level of the sound, if that person has some background noise, the clarifier will also clarify the background noise as well. So this is going to be something that you will use per need and basically per your personal preference, because everyone feels the sound differently. So I hope that this answered your question. Apart from the clarifier, we do also have the option to change the bass and treble, so higher or lower frequencies can be also adjusted. And you can always do this and change it for each person who is currently taking the floor. And in general, a lot of interpreters gave an excellent feedback on this feature. So you can even test it with us today, depending on who is speaking. You can test to see what do you like and do you like these features or not.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have some more questions?
I think we do have a couple of questions at the end. Is that right? So,
do I need to send my do I need to send you my CV when we email you to express my interest to be in on your database? Adham is asking.
yes, please. And then you may just send it to the the email address displayed on screen, which is at the last point, and then so that our VM will reach out to you. Okay. I think
Chris,
that's yeah.
I think before when we were preparing for the session, Chris had some interesting questions that might be nice to discuss if he's still around.
Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, I'm still here. I have questions about the training from the Interprefy that may, is it time to ask about the questions that the interpreter may want to know?
Yeah, you
I
can
mean,
ask some of the questions, definitely.
yeah. Maybe it would be great to let the interpreter knows the new policy and the content of the training, because I know it's now changed to like 1 hour online and 1 hour live training. And if interpreters would like to renew their license, they do not need to pay for additional costs, but it only need to do it online, right? So yeah, I think they would like to hear more about that.
I will just remind them that the main difference is that now we have training that is divided in two separate parts. The first one is e-learning. They can take it whenever they want. It's self-paced training. And once they complete the training, then they will go through 1 hour long training session where actually they'll spend time mostly with to do the sound check, and our trainer will test their knowledge, what they understood during the e-learning. Of course, if something is not clear, then our trainer will spend time explaining all those features and practicing relay and handover. What else? The main difference is also that whenever there is a need to refresh your knowledge, and we recommend that after every 6 months of being inactive on the platform, that you should go through to the e-learning course that is free of charge compared with previous years. And that would be it. It's cheaper and it's easier for you to go through the learning because you don't need to wait for us to schedule the training. You can do it in any time zone, and also you can use practice token to practice with your boot partner whenever you have a need for that.
As well, we post the latest updates over there. We have a Facebook group that you're joining after you become approved. We post the videos with the latest updates. We add some of the updates to the e-learning course. And of course, you can always come back to the course to repeat something if you forgot. And as Yelena said, to practice with your partners, which is pretty important. There was another question here. Yelena, you can help us with that. about does Interprefy website have the page to give us a list of LSPs with contact info?
Currently we don't have that kind of list because first we have two main partners, is Interprenet and RWS, and we work with many different LSPs that are smaller, but they have a bit different approach because they are trying to have a less, as Jessica would say, this human touch and to have everything automatized. So I will let you know in a Facebook group if this politics change in our company, but we have one department that is dealing with all those smaller LSPs, let's call them like that. So currently the answer is no, but if something's changed, you will be notified. Now we introduce RWS, and I can see that among interpreters also they were not aware that we have this kind of a relationship, and I'm glad that we managed to show them.
Noriko asks, I have credential ID with Interprefy. Is my status up to date? So if you had this training and if you were approved, then it lasts for 6 months. And Yelena already explained how it gets renewed. So if you haven't worked on Interprefy events for the last 6 months, you would need to do a refresher. But if you have worked, like constantly with us, then in that case, you won't need a refresher.
So even if you are not, for example, you know that you haven't worked with us, you don't need to write to us. You can just go through the e-learning by yourself. Just log into the platform that you're already part of that platform. If you were trained, and then you can notify us. You can send an email to me. I will copy paste my email here that you went through the training, and we will change your status to approved.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Chris, was there any other question from your side, or we can ask some other ones?
Okay. Hey, sorry. Is it our camera off or off our camera? Because
It is off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank you. Okay, just in case. Yeah, just make sure we are on.
no
It's all
problem.
right. Okay. So okay. Maybe Jessica, do you have questions that from the interpreters to be?
It's like what my thank you, Chris. And then I think what is related to what I mentioned at the beginning is that the human touch, and then we would like to grow together with the interpreters. And I think one important point is that I'm sure that all interpreters are very experienced, and then they are very capable. But sometimes we would also like to give some feedback because this different client might have different requirements. So will there be any feedback mechanism coming up from the end client so that we could keep the interpreters updated, how their performance are, especially for some regular jobs?
You mean from the end client?
Yes, that's right.
I think we are getting something, but I'm not 100% sure.
Usually, I think
If they evaluate the interpreters, I would need to check that one. And Yelena, do you know anything about that, or Christina?
Sorry, can you just repeat? Apologies.
No problem. It's more like a standard mechanism for to give feedback to interpreters. I know currently, usually it's either it's usually when they come back to us, there are some issues, and then but of course we wouldn't want to just give negative feedback to our interpreters. If they are doing a good job, sometimes we want to also send some positive encouragement to our interpreters too.
Yeah, of course. So those kind of feedbacks would come through our project manager. We have survey after the event, and also they're always in communication with our project manager, which is actually the main person from Interprefy that is dealing with their event. So those kind of praise words will also interpreters will hear not directly from the client, but from the project manager that works for Interprefy, or from Interprefy.
I see. Okay. So hopefully, I think we will try to give feedback to the interpreters as much as we could, so that we will be able to service the end client best to the requirements.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's our goal. Yeah.
Note, that means that we need to promote
So
this
yeah, it's
kind
a
of
suggestion.
culture.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion. We're gonna definitely take it into account so that we can forward the feedback to you and you can share it then with interpreters again.
Yeah.
That's a nice idea. Does any of interpreters have any kind of question maybe for the remote support so we can make the most of it while we have them here actually? Or if you have any other questions, just feel free to ask. I also have some questions for the interpreters ready, but it's your day today, so you can feel free to ask more questions.
And you can see that this is relaxed session. We are formal and that
there's no
everything
dress
is
code and
clear.
stuff. Yeah. So
For example, I
relax.
can see that my hair is getting worse during the session. I don't know how. There is no wind here, but it's just getting worse.
No, you're fine, Elena. And then I just try to put on a little bit of concealer for the sections so that it's still presentable.
What I always want to ask you is how's now the kind of the portion of online versus on-site assignments?
I would say,
do you have any idea?
maybe it's just our gut feeling, and then previously, of course, during COVID, is predominantly remote, and but of course now, especially, I can give you some background information about Hong Kong because I'm based in Hong Kong, by the way, and then so Hong Kong, we are like the last out of the batch to go back to normal or to reopen our border. So now we don't have to, register ourselves or have to present any vaccination card whenever we go, which is very good news. And then people can come and go, when without much of the restrictions. So we can see that business started to come back to normal. We started to see queues out of restaurant. That's one of the signs that people start to come out. So that's why we are also seeing some trend that on-site events is going to take place because of course they kind of yearn for the face-to-face communications, and then but does that mean that everything will just switch back to on-site? Of course I don't think so. And then some of the clients do once they got a taste of online remote interpretations, they can't just get out of it. They can't just quit it because it's economical, and then it also allow them to have a larger pool of resources to choose from. And I think this is one of the best points to have a remote interpretations. So that's why I would say going forward, even if things are going back to normal, we are still seeing a steady volume of remote interpretations requests. While on-site, I would say it's just depends on the scale and the importance of the events. If it's sometimes we even see hybrid, like they will need someone on site, but also at the same time, they will still need someone remote, doing it remotely. Yeah.
I noticed that in 2023, when we say on-site, actually, in most of the cases, it's actually hybrid. Not when you speak about interpreters, but in some other way, it happens that it's hybrid.
Yeah, because when we...
I want to say that we really have 100% on-site events now in 2023.
Because when we look back to on-site event in the pre-COVID era, we don't have you. We don't have Interprefy, and then or it's not as prominent as before. So that's why I would say now we know that most of us know that there are solutions for us. So I would say it could be a more effective solutions for most of our clients. Yeah.
Yes.
So what I would like to ask interpreters is, like, we all know how stressful your work could be, but how do you distress after a long day at work? Somebody can apply for the floor or answer in the chat. What are your techniques for relaxing after
And
Oh,
please
I love
don't
this
mind
question.
about your outfit. We know that most of you are from Europe and it's morning, so we even expect people coming into their pajamas answering this really interesting question.
I saw Georgia mention that her interest is
Spinning
spinning
class.
class. Wow.
Chocolate. Okay. Nice. How about you guys, Jessica?
I'm about to
How
say
do
that,
you distress yourself?
mine, a lot of ways. Sleeping for one thing, I'll just switch off. And then, but sometimes I will just online shopping. I shop a lot, I shop a lot that every day I'm expecting delivery. Or sometimes, I will
Nice.
go to traditional way, like readings, if I manage to have some quiet time. So I will just read and then see, just forget about the reality and then, dive into the story. I think it's a nice way to de-stress too.
But
Yes,
Jessica, when you
good.
mention sleep, it's also important to highlight how interpreters get more sleep when working remotely than on site. They don't need to
Indeed.
spend time on the airports and to wait for flight and many different things that they are aware of.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes, they can have a more flexible schedule if they can work from home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what about you, Chris? How do you
Yeah,
relax after the work?
I will go jogging regularly, and then I will just walk strolling at the park, to be, get myself near the nature and then just relax.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
and
for
then drink
example,
coffee.
okay.
Yeah, drink coffee.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
okay.
because yeah.
How often?
You mean coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, daily, every day.
Daily.
But I will, go for a more fancy coffee shop during time off, just to, relax and then, just sit there and then doing nothing and just chill.
Nice. Nice.
Is
And
there
for
any
example,
interpreter?
I wanted to encourage interpreters, please, Vladimir,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
take this opportunity because I dance Argentinian tango, and tango can be seen as a language because there is no choreography. We exchange every millisecond. We exchange this energy, and we don't know what we're gonna say in the next step. So I will encourage all interpreters to start dancing tango. I think it's the best way to relax.
Yeah.
I hope that all of you that you're here, we will meet one day at tango floor.
Nice.
Okay.
And is there anybody who would like to share some experiences with us, like about what is easier for you to interpret from the booth or from home? What do you prefer and why? It would be nice to have someone brave enough to take the floor.
So the question is, do you prefer work in RSI or on site events, and why?
And yeah, you don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want. You can just enable audio if you're too shy. It's all good. Well, while we're waiting for the answer, how about you? Generally, do you prefer working online, or you preferred before when everything was in the offices, going over there? For example, Jessica or Yelena, you.
Yeah, I think I would prefer a hybrid because sometimes it could be quite depressing to just confine in our own place and then without interacting much with other human being. And but of course, working from home does have its perks. I would say, you don't have to put on, for girls, you don't have to put on makeup, you don't have to dress up. You can, save a lot of money, on buying clothes and then, all the beauty products. And then it's more
Save the
time
time.
efficient. Yeah,
Yeah.
time efficient. I would say, you can just wake up and then switch on your computer and then you can start working right away. And commute time, you can cut off the commute time. And then sometimes it's quite important because sometimes it will take us like 1 to 2 hours to get back to the office. And sometimes if we need to stay behind, that means that we need to wait until like in the evening 11 or something to go back to get home, which is quite late for us then. But now, working from home is much easier. And if I really need to choose between one options, well, probably work from home. Yeah.
Yeah, same
Okay,
here.
so we have in the chat Noriko saying in Japan, one agency has an exclusive contract with Interprefy. They prefer to send us to the stream studio instead of home. And I think that I guess that she's referring to Simul company. I guess that they are doing that because to make sure that sound quality is good and you're not at home with some background noise. But I can see this smiley, so I guess that
Yeah,
you would prefer to
that's what I
work
wanted.
from home.
That's what I wanted to say as well. Yeah. So I guess she
Yeah.
she
And
prefers. Yeah.
Jessica, I understand that you miss people, and also I had this period when I really wanted to go back to the office, and then I started with my hobbies once again. So now I'm fine. And the only disadvantage is that when I finish with work, I run out from the house, so then I have less time to clean the house and to rearrange it. But then if I have 1 day per week, it's fine. I want to
Yeah.
say, when you're working from the office, you cannot wait to come home, and when you're working from home, you cannot wait to go out.
Yes.
Go out.
Yes.
That's human being.
Run out of the
Yes.
We
house.
always
Exactly.
want, both the perks of both world, So,
Yes.
yeah.
So
I
that's
would
why
like
hobbies are important.
very, very. I would like to bring on our senior training specialist, Christina, so that she can tell us something about equipment approval, which is always a point of interest for interpreters. So she's going to tell us what can they do, except what kind of equipment can they have except for the recommended list that we have. Hey there. Hi,
Hi.
Beck.
Hi. Yes, in general, I understand why some agency would like to have interpreters working from their own offices, but in general, in my personal opinion, most of the interpreters who work from home, they do have a good equipment. Regarding us, we do have a list of recommended headsets which can be approved immediately, but apart from that, that doesn't mean that it has to be the equipment that is already on the list. We do have multiple solutions for those kind of situations. Basically depends on the sound quality. So the sound quality should be judged. It can be judged on multiple ways. It can be judged on the live training session, on the training by the trainer, or it can be you can always ask Elena to schedule equipment check with us to just check, is the sound sufficient, is the headset working well, and in general trainers can help you if there are some technical issues with the headset that can be solved through the system. But in general, you can always test it. Of course, as for any equipment, it should not be the one. My suggestion for you when you're buying a new headset would actually be to read reviews online first before you make any purchase, because that is the best way for you to actually get a pair of headset that will provide a good sound. Apart from that, cable connection to the internet is a must. And that is something that is for interpreter very very important to have stable internet connection. Even when Wi-Fi is really good and the router is in your room, Wi-Fi will always have a package loss. And for regular user, that's not important. But for interpreters, that can mean that you maybe will miss a verb because of the downtown in the internet connection, or something like that. So for that reason, we are very strict regarding the Ethernet cable. And of course, good computer that can run that can run the system. Since we're using Chromium-based browsers, you would need to have a computer with a good RAM memory and a strong enough processor to run the actual system.
Okay,
Sorry if
thank
I'm
you so much. Yeah, well, good to know all of these details, definitely. All right. So one more time, thank you so much, Christina. And we
Thank you.
would like to give you the opportunity to ask some more questions. We are getting close to the end of the session, so use your chance. Today people are
have
very shy.
4 months, and
Yeah.
it can happen like in 20 minutes you will say to yourself, oh, I could ask this and I missed the opportunity. At the end, it's not the missed opportunity. You can write to us anytime, but why not?
Yeah.
You can
Why
see
not
that
now?
we are in a good mood, so we will bring you to the floor and then you will show us that you're in a better mood than us.
I'm sorry that I let Christina left too soon, and then I also have questions maybe for her. If interpreters who follow the guidelines and purchase some equipment, but just to be sure, he or she wants to test the equipment whether they are good. So how is this going? Is it something that we could schedule for them?
Yes, exactly. So we
Can
have.
I just answer the first part of the question? All interpreters that are already approved, they have one free of charge equipment testing per year. So we want to give this to interpreters in case they want to check their equipment or they want to purchase something new or to try something else. They can schedule it. One per year is for free.
I see.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good to
yes,
know,
exactly. Whenever the new equipment is there, we have the equipment testing sessions. Those sessions are usually pretty short, and they can be up to 30 minutes. For the 30 minutes, trainer will test how the computer is running on the system, and of course, is the internet connection and sound quality optimal. If it is, then we are usually done before the 30 minutes mark. But in general, we can also help out as much as we can with it if there is any technical problems with the headset. Of course, if it is a hardware issue where the headset is faulty or something like that, we cannot help physically with any damage, of course. But we can help with some minor troubleshooting issues if we have enough time. Even the most complex ones, it's just that the session itself is 30 minutes. So whatever we can do in those 30 minutes, we will try.
Okay, it's good to know. And then, so just in case any interpreters ask us, then we will just tell them the same. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we are pretty flexible. It doesn't really have to be the actual. We do have some headsets that do not work well. So maybe just asking in advance, that would be also a good idea. Maybe to pull out some headsets who didn't proven great, and they're very affordable, and mostly in every store in the world. So in general, that is also a good thing. As I mentioned, reviews from internet are great. People who are actually reviewing the headset, they're not sound experts, but they will provide you with some context in a way, is the headset good or not.
Okay, it's good to know. It's good to know. Thank you so much, Christina. And then I heard you mention that there's a certain brand or certain kind of equipment that may not work well. So of course we are not going to disclose it here because, and then, but if it's possible, then maybe you can share with us offline. Then we will have, we can also pre-screen and run a pre-screen and then let the interpreters know, okay, maybe that may not be our best options for doing the jobs, and we'll just share among themselves. Not that they are not great in some other way. So yeah.
Exactly. Of course, I mean, every headset, if for interpreters, it's important that they have good headphones and good microphone as well. For some other professionals, maybe they need just the good headset. They don't need a good microphone. So we're not saying that the headset or the brand is terrible. It's just not for interpretation purposes.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's nice. And then I think so far I don't have any further questions. I have based on our experience working with the interpreters. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, I hope you liked your first experience in the Q&A session. It's something that we started just recently. We had 2 or 3 before, so it's kind of a new for us. I want to remind you also that we're going to have a recording in the next few weeks, probably ready and tailored, so that you can. I will send you the links and you can share it further to your network.
Of course.
I guess there will be some very interesting information for interpreters and other stakeholders interested to find out more about this Q&A session. I really want to thank you for your presence today, for your expertise, and for explaining everything thoroughly. And I think that would be pretty much all for today. We can have your closing words, and we're going to close the session slowly.
We have a nice comment from Georgia saying, please keep them coming. Very useful session. Thank you, Georgia.
It's good
Thank
to know.
you.
It's good to know. And thank you both of you
And
for
thank you all for your
waking up
presence.
super early. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a nice
you.
day, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a nice rest
Have
of
a
the
nice
day,
day.
wherever you are.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Have a great day.
everyone.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Bye.